Head scratcher for law enforcement this evening, knowing that an attack on a power substation in North Carolina was a deliberate act, but not knowing a motive.
Yeah, tens of thousands of people are still in the dark right now after someone opened fire on part of the Duke Energy power grid. David Winter is at one of our local substations with what local authorities are doing to prepare should there be a similar attack. This is so frightening, David.
Yeah, it certainly can be, Paula. Duke Energy has hundreds of substations just like this one behind me that is near City Hall, just off of Central Parkway. But the difference is with this one, it's surrounded by a brick wall. Most of the substations are just surrounded by a chain-link fence, and while Duke Energy says a sophisticated network of cameras and other detection equipment is in place, there's only so much they can do.
How can you monitor all those?
Certainly, if folks are intent on inflicting any kind of damage to the system, depending on how intent they are, certainly things can happen.
Duke Energy's Sally Thalen says equally as important as protecting the grid, it is pouring $7 billion into upgrading its systems so it can quickly reroute power should an attack occur.
That's all part of our self-healing, network that we've got out there on the grid that we continue to enhance.
Why not build walls around them so people can't just stand outside and shoot?
Certainly any kind of cost that we would need to fortify substations in the manner that you're recommending or throwing out there as an idea. It's going to cost money, which ultimately is going to, come down to passing that along to customers.
If we see one that starts ticking up hundreds and then thousands, then we'll reach out to our Duke Energy representative.
At Hamilton County Emergency Management Homeland Security, Nick Crossley says they are keenly aware of the attack in North Carolina.
Do you go on heightened alert? Is it DEFCON 4?
I won't say it's DEFCON 4. However, we do monitor those kinds of incidents throughout the entire event. So we've been monitoring it since it was first reported.
Along with preparing any shelter, food, or water needs should an attack occur, Crossley says high-tech law enforcement partner, the Fusion Center, is vigilant.
They're monitoring open source media, they're monitoring open source social media, they are working with the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, and so they're constantly have these information streams coming in, and they're analyzing that and sharing that as appropriate with local law enforcement so that we can mitigate the impacts.
Now, when you're in a highly populated area like where I am right now in Hamilton County, there are, again, hundreds of these power substations, which is a real advantage because it makes it much easier for Duke Energy to reroute that power should an attack occur. Now, you compare that to North Carolina, there were only 2 substations in that entire county where the attack occurred, and that's why they are still struggling to get power back on for those tens of thousands of people. Reporting from downtown Cincinnati, this is David Winter. Back to you.
All right, well, it is. I feel bad for them, and it's good to hear that we have something in place here that's a little safer. Thank you, David. Duke Energy says that there are more eyeballs out there than cameras, so it is encouraging people to report anything suspicious they may see near substations. Duke Energy and Emergency Management say there are currently no threats to our local power grid.